So how often has this happened to you? You're anticipating the price movement to go down, so you're planning to open a short, but it's a bit choppy and you can't quite figure out when to enter the trade. So what most people do is enter when price turns bullish, just like this, but more often than not this can happen. Price still continues to bounce around and doesn't break on a downtrend just yet, but you have already entered the trade at the bottom or near it and are currently at a loss, and sometimes the candles come dangerously close to your stop loss. And for example here, my stop loss would already be hit and I would have lost money. So what would be a smarter way to enter trades that could net you much more profit? Enter limit orders. Pretty much every beginner who's starting to trade is using market orders, which can come in handy when there are huge swings in market and you want to get in immediately. But for moves like this, where price can and most often does move sideways for a bit before breaking down or going up, limit orders are much more advantageous. Let me show you what I mean. So for example here, the price continued to move up before eventually starting to go on a downtrend like it's doing now. And by the way, I am currently in the trade that I'm going to show you. And what I actually did to enter this trade was using limit orders. I noticed early on that there are huge wicks on these candles and that the price movement is still respecting this trend line. So I knew that the price is not going to break down just yet, but like anyone, I can't precisely pinpoint when that's going to happen. All I know, there's huge possibility that it's going to happen. So now my job was to figure out what's the best entry price. And knowing for a fact that the price movement still respects this trend line, I decided to set my limit order at $1,451. And this, by the way, is for Ethereum. So this would be right about here. And this is exactly where my position was opened, right over here. So you can see that most of the price movement is, let's move this here, is below the price that I actually opened my trade. So for the most part, I was in the money, even though the price movement still hasn't broken down that much. I'm still waiting for that to happen. And compare that to if I had opened trade right here, I would have been stopped out quite fast. So if you're anticipating the price to go either way, use limit orders instead of market orders and select price that is close to your nearest resistance as your entry point. This way you're leaving much more room for the price movement to go against your trade and not hit your stop loss. Instead of if you open your position, for example right here, then your stop loss would have hit merely 20 minutes later. And as you can see from the time I opened my trade right about here, it's taking quite a while for it to actually turn the direction that I think it's going to go. So please use limit orders to keep yourself safe and give yourself more wiggle room for your stop loss. Thank you so much for watching, subscribe for more.